So, welcome, a warm welcome from me, and thank you for being with us in the last event of the year. I'm really thrilled, personally, to have Elsie Maio with us, who has been an inspiration, a role model, and a mentor for me, and I would dare say even a catalyst. She helped me have a transformation journey from, I would say, an overly confident and overly ambitious and somehow egotistic individual into a more balanced, more rounded, and more giving professional and human being. So thank you, Elsie, for this. I got to know her by accident. That means I was in the board of the Advertisers Association, and we had introduced the awards for corporate social responsibility, and we were looking for a keynote to be able to talk to us where this CSR was going to. And it was the first years when people could Google, so we Googled her, and we found a company named Soul Branding. It was such an impressive name, and then I read the resume of Elsie, and she was as impressive in the resume as was the company that she was running, and that really played an important role. So because branding really matters in our lives. And there she was, she came to Athens, had this event, and ever since we've been meeting quite regularly on a personal basis. I go and find her in various places where she runs some retreats. What I can tell you about Elsie, which she will be shy and will not tell you, she had a vast career. She started her career in a mainstream capitalism way in the Wall Street. She was a McKinsey consultant for many years, and then she set up her own business, which had as a mission and a vision to partner with companies, organizations, but even governments, and support them in making it to a transformation journey also for themselves, making them to thrive, but on a values-based business model, new business models, different to what they had. And she's one of those people who can masterfully, I would say, blend the principles of philosophy, including the ancient Greek philosophy that she's a lover of, and also very modern business and management techniques like design thinking and all these new stuff that the millennials are very comfortable with. She can advise CEOs of the dinosaur age, as I call them, but also start-uppers of the new age with equal ability to navigate them through this new era. And what she will do for us today, she will share some samples, some insights, some thoughts, which are reflected also in her book, which is finishing as we speak. And she did us the honor to be here with us without finishing the book, which she had a name before year end, because she loves Athens and she loves women. And she will share some case studies of among others, of women, but also men, who share these similar, I would say, feminine values. Those values of the right brain, not of the left brain that we people in business normally put in action with. And she will show us how they manage to transform their own lives, but also their businesses, and thrive in this post-capitalism world that we are all living in. But Elsie, I think the floor is yours. Thank you for being here with us.
So many of you came up to me before we started and said, I can't believe it. I'm seeing friends here who I haven't seen in like 23 years, or who I grew up in high school with. Not just business connections, but friends. So I have the sense that there's a lot of heart in this room. And my request is that you bring your heart to your work, to your decisions, to the way that you are envisioning your life going forward. Because the world needs us to play that way now. The way to do it is by giving power to the people, by giving a voice to the hearts of the people. And I can tell you that when you do that, we're people, right? If someone asks you, what do you really care about? Like when you're on your deathbed, what do you want to know that you actually lived by? You know, when you're ready to check out and there's nothing else you can do, what do you want to know that you actually did? What do you want to know were the principles that guided you? We all come up with pretty much the same ones. It's like the golden rule. We've identified them as 13 values. We call them soul values. And they're about being just, being a contribution, being fair, honest, excellent. We love doing things in a way that's really the right way to do it. But this is what's beautiful about being human. So, talking about innovation, when you give people the opportunity to not only express that, but a channel for doing it in your company, your rates of innovation will go through the roof. From a business point of view, there's a confluence of doing good and doing well that's opened up to us like never before. So I'm going to tell you a couple of cases, and then we'll have questions. But really what I'm hoping is that you as a collective are going to engage in these questions among yourselves and think about, you know, women. Women are starting to find our voice. At least 34 men who were at the top of their industries or governments have stepped down because of this Me Too movement. Women have said, basta, right? I am going to overcome my own internalized sense that I'm not enough, and I'm going to say what happened to me because I want to stop this. We don't realize how much we actually already do contribute, right? There are not many women in senior leadership, executive positions or board positions. In fact, at the high end, it's 18% across industries. We are probably 50% of the world population, right? Not even 20% of us are running things. Why? A lot of structural reasons for that. If you want to know some of them, read Duff McDonald's book. It's a critique of Harvard as an illustration of how we train people to be leaders today. The book is called The Golden Passport, and that will give you a lot of information about why things are the way that they are. But even though we're not even 20% of the decision makers in large companies, when companies take a step toward gender balance, either at the C-suite level or at the board, their return on investment goes up 53%. Increasing gender balance means more women. Their profits go up 42%. Return on invested capital up 66%. It doesn't make business sense to keep women out anymore. However, we are still only not even 20% up there. When there are 30% women on the board or in the C-suite, profitability rises 15%. Duh. I mean, when I read these numbers, I was shocked. Net profit goes up 6 percentage points when 30% are women on the board. Even just one woman on the board decreases the likelihood of bankruptcy by 20%. Okay, so with that in mind, right, do we have to prove anything else? So this is a story about a woman who has a daughter who is in the social entrepreneurial field, social impact. They're at dinner. And her daughter's telling her so excitedly about these new projects that she's involved with, which are helping small farm holders in Africa to establish businesses. And they struggle because nobody will lend them money. And in order to have sustainability, they need to have the premium seeds that will last from one season to the next. But the premium seeds companies will not front them the money. So Joan, the woman in question, who is an expert in insurance and who is a professor at Wharton and who has just turned around a $13 billion insurance company to positive performance, says to her daughter, "Where's insurance and all that?" And her daughter said, "That's for you to do, Mom." So she kind of filed that. At the celebratory dinner with the whole team that had turned around this insurance company, the chairman said, "Well, now that we've done that," he went around the table and said, "What's your passion project?" And Joan was ready with hers. She said, "It is to bring insurance to reduce the risk and increase the sustainability of small farm holders." And he said, and this is a captain of industry, an amazing person. He said, "Iman, show me a business plan." Now that's because she was there at the right time with her dream. So part of my message to you is have your dream ready. You don't know when you're going to have the opportunity. Ask yourself the beautiful question, wow, if there's something I could change, given my competence, my skill, my will, my passion, this is the thing that I would do. Have it ready, have it in your back pocket. Because now Joan is running something, it's a fintech microinsurance company called Blue Marble Microinsurance. And she has 8 of the major insurance companies funding her initiative. She's working with a small staff of millennials, and they are proving the case. She's creating a whole other industry, using what she knows how to do well, which is the insurance business, but in an innovative way. She had her dream in her pocket. So my request of you is that when you get together, talk about, wow, that would be my dream project. Ask yourselves the beautiful questions. The competence and power in this room is palpable. You people get things done, and you get things done in a situation that's really challenging. This is a woman who I met when she graduated from Columbia. We were sitting around a table. It was actually at the UN in a room that was dedicated to Eleanor Roosevelt, who you may know is responsible for the UN Declaration on Human Rights, which basically says humans have a right to live, to be free, to be healthy, etc. So it's in this environment that I'm sitting around a table with a group of people who decide we're going to form something called the Socially Responsible Business Alliance of New York, so that people like us who want to bring consciousness to business can meet and support each other, etc. And Amanda had just come from Columbia, where she graduated, and she really wasn't sure what she wanted to do, but she knew that she wanted to be successful in a traditional sense, and that somehow technology was involved. And over the years, I have coached and mentored her. One of the things that she was brave enough to do, you know, when you get out of school, you're pretty scared, like, I don't know, what am I going to do? It all seems so risky and fuzzy. There are so many options. And she very wisely went to her heart and saw what she had passion for. It didn't seem like it was related to business or that it would related to a career, but she went there. And this is what I ask you all to do. Go to your heart and see what you have heart for. The thing that she remembered was how her mother had such a hard time as a single mother. And she said to Amanda at one point, make sure that you can take care of yourself financially. And Amanda grew up seeing how many women don't. I won't say can't, because I think a lot of it is internalized limitation. So Amanda said, I am going to empower women to be financially successful, responsible, financially literate to start with. But first I realized this is not skill building, this is not left brain stuff, this is emotional. This, you know, and this involves things like women, and there is data on this, do not show their power because they think it's going to reduce their marriageability. And femininity. I think we can relate, right? So she started instead of starting a training company to train people with, this is what you do with your budget, blah, she went for the whole thing, the whole person, because that's what we also are very good at as women. We are very good at relating. And this is one of the skills of our systemic, complex world. And this is why these companies perform so well when we join their boards, because we have a long view and we like to include people. We like the team to win. We like the group to win. And that's the only way to go these days. So she started this newsletter online using her technology training and expertise. And she now has 1 million subscribers. She has gotten $2 million in funding through Google. She's on Forbes' best upcoming tech stars lists. And Oprah selected her for her Super Soul 100. And the Super Soul 100, I learned, is it's not about business success. It's about promoting people who have succeeded based on values. Now, for me, this is the model of humanity and our effectiveness. To actually bring our hearts and souls into what we do, to put our skills, our resources, our money behind what we know will make a difference for people, for the world, and at the same time thriving ourselves. It's not about martyrdom. And then there's a business reason for it, because business, in order to thrive, needs to make sure that it is sustainable, that its water supply, for example, is renewable and affordable, that its supply chain is taking care of labor. So the notion that we were atoms, I think it's Democritus, right? Is he the one who had the atomic theory? At any rate, it's time for a new version of that because we're not islands. We are hyper interdependent on each other and affected by each other. Again, another one of our feminine women's skills, relational skills. I'll give you a final example, and then we'll see what you're interested in talking about. There's one bank that we worked with. They had the values to start with. They were founded on the principles of Rudolf Steiner. Their basic assumption is that the role of finance, this is a bank, the role of money is as a lubricant to help enhance the prosperity of humanity. So that's their ingoing point of view. In 2003-ish, when Muhammad Yunus won the Nobel Prize for what he did with Grameen Bank, which was essentially, he was looking at his country, Bangladesh, abject poverty, and thought, how can I help these people in abject poverty? He thought, well, we're going to experiment. So they created a program of making microloans to people in these little communities. And the notion was, well, if we give a microloan to this person, then they could build a business and it will help keep the money circulating in the community. How can we do this and actually have it, have everybody participate? So the women, for example, would buy a mobile phone. One woman would buy a mobile phone, and then they would sell calls to the village. And when they accumulated some extra money, they bought another mobile phone in the group. So now there were two of them that had a little business. And so what they discovered, and this is why he won the Nobel Prize, is that in a community of structured support, such as women naturally created, the whole community is uplifted economically. So getting back to this, this created a buzz because there was a 90% return on those loans. You don't get a 90% return on consumer loans. The big banks, Deutsche Bank, for example, said, maybe we should look at this business, and Chase, et cetera. So this bank that originated it came to us and said, Elsie, how can we preserve our values and compete with the big boys? And I said, oh, this is a really great question. So essentially what we did was we went to the people, the associates in the company, and said, okay, what are your values? What does it mean to you? And if you are living your values most fully and more fully in your relationship with customers, in your relationship with communities, what would this company be doing? The explosion in innovation has lifted this company to the point where it had been a niche player, just basically in Benelux. It is now the global sustainable bank. The CEO has stepped up on the global stage and declared a global alliance for sustainable banks. They are now the place that banks from the US go to get trained on how to do it. This is by unleashing what's in the hearts and passions of people, combined with competence, skills, and resources. This is what's available to us, to trust and to use our passion and our inclination to contribute to ourselves as well as others. There's a poet, John O'Donohue, who said, "Beautiful questions create beautiful minds." We need beautiful minds to be creating the visions for society. They're here. You know, this is where it got started, democracy. Democratic capitalism needs some help. Maybe it's time to ask some more of those beautiful Socratic questions here yourselves. What crucial need drives you crazy when you think about it, that you would like to see addressed in society or in your community? Doesn't matter if you see a solution, but just to pose the beautiful question, boy, if something could be better, this is what I think it would be and what would make a difference.
I shared a story earlier about how my grandmother's sisters growing up in the 30s and 40s, they were educated beyond eligibility, truly. Two of them never married, but they excelled professionally. So the joke in the family was for the next generation that if you have to educate yourself beyond eligibility, be intelligent enough not to show it. So here I am, I'm sharing that.
I started with something small, but in my neighborhood, how we can create a better place for the kids to play. I found my business passion when I was 19, but I never liked being competitive. I always liked collaborating with teams. So what I believe, and what I think most of you believe, is that, and as you said, the boards of companies to have a contribution of both genders, which brings different skills that are complementary. So what we need is not to compare with each other and compete with each other. That's what I think, is to collaborate and to bring our best. Yes, I agree, for better societies and better business communities and companies with values, and most of all, honesty, because CSR is not another marketing tool. It's really a matter of values inside the company. And I think we need to break some eggs to make an omelette.
What is my passion, as I was listening to all of you and your speech also, Elsie, is that I would really want to see not only more women in business or more women in taking positions of power. I also wanted to educate women to respect women. I mean, many of us, many women all over the world think for other women as we were men. I mean, we have not to be misogynic as women. That's it's a very important step.
There's a company called Eileen Fisher. It's a brand of women's clothing. It's special because it's deconstructed clothing. It's very comfortable, super high quality. It was formed by a woman who just didn't want to wear the suit and tie and thing. You know, she said, I don't like this. I guess I have to start a company so I could have the clothes that I want to wear. And she did. But for her to do that, she had to overcome extraordinary shyness. The reason why I'm sharing this is related to your point. We have personal obstacles to change. We have personal obstacles to doing things differently. If we are going to step up, if we are going to be more collaborative, if we're going to be more respectful, there's a voice in us that we'll have to face. And that voice says, you can't do that. Or don't be naive. Or don't be stupid. That won't work. So part of the commitment here is a commitment to leadership. This is what leadership is. Leadership is modeling consciousness. Leadership is not standing up there like this. It's actually being what you stand for. So if we want people to be empowered and respectful, the first job is for us to love and respect ourselves.
Unemployment is a huge concern at the moment in Greece. And not only unemployment, but the fact that there are many people who cannot enter in any way the market. I would like in some way to work on that.
My son is a startup, so I am trying to help him get employees in Greece. And I took over the Greek consortium. But I started with Greece because Greeks need to have a job. But they don't want to work. They want to go to their cafeterias. I try to get them to work at home with their pajamas, naked, whatever way they want to do it.
There are a lot of young people that want to work. They have all the qualifications. I think it has to do also with us. I think we need to show more respect to them. If you approach them and you show them the opportunity and you show them what you can offer, I have seen young people and a lot of young people that collaborate very well with the older generations within their job environment.
My big passion has been for the last 27 years to work in transforming the informal sector. We talk about tourism as an engine of growth. So what do we do to take care of our culture, of our inheritance, of our environment? How could we become catalyzers so that we can get into the passion that we all have?
We're talking actually about two things, respect and unemployment. And actually this is something that I work as a passion, to mentor younger graduates how to take the lead on what they want to be their future.
Child abuse, as you know, in this country, it exists a lot and nobody talks about it. And even if you do see something like that happen next to you, you don't know where to call. That's the problem. We don't know the number, the simple number.
And if we could educate people around that and where they can call when they witness or see something like that, it could be maybe a good idea.
Well, Vasilopoulos would give the media, and we would do the pro bono campaign, because we are a PR company, in order to get this number known across Greece. If anybody else would like to help in the media department, would be more than happy.
So I made one request, and that is that everything that you have shared here so far is recorded and that some action plan is developed around them. My second request is that you buy my book when it comes out.
What really surprised me was that you gave us just 1 minute to express our passionate and how we think. With a lady next to me that it's the first time that I meet her, but we open our hearts, so really open our hearts, and we share what we wanted.
I had exactly the same idea, that in an instant, a beautiful question created beautiful minds, as you said. And this is the power of beautiful questions. Everybody has a passion, everybody has beautiful ideas. And when you have the opportunity to share it with another person that wants to listen to you, things happen. It's magic. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm so impressed.